Let's clean out that energy. Let's bring in the positivity. Get rid of that negative energy that's luring all around us in lieu of this virus. It's cleaning out. Oh, burning sage also helps with getting rid of bacteria. FYI. We're gonna vibe a little bit tonight. Cause we quarantining and we chilling anyway, right? Lipstick poppin'. Willie, my lip gloss. Alright, let's switch it up a little bit. I'm so excited that everybody's here with me tonight. Everybody. There's probably only 2 people watching this. Everybody. Anyway, I just want to get a vibe going because I feel like with the full moon just passing, you know, release, let it go. Release, let it go. What you thought you knew, what you think you know, let it go. My full moon was pretty too. It was a super moon. It was pink. And it was just so symbolic of the level of how important letting shit go is right now. You're inside, you're quarantined, you're faced with yourself and anything that you've invested in, and it's time to really process that and start letting some shit go. So, you know, a lot of people who aren't aware of this energy or doing that real work probably didn't think about it, but it was heavy. They didn't think about doing the rituals, but they felt the energy. I'm pretty sure everyone has felt this in the last few days of just mulling over and constantly thinking about relationships and partnerships and, you know, where you stand and all that, and how that affects you and what that looks like for you and what it's been, you know. I just really want to talk about that tonight. I said on my last one that I was going to let tonight be about COVID-19 can't stop me. And it can't stop you. A virus can't stop you. Only your inability to understand how to operate through a virus is what will stop you. You know, release what no longer serves you. Release lack of understanding. Release lack of knowledge. Release what you think you know, because you have no idea. Shit, I don't. It's just so crazy because it seems like no matter how much I keep trying to put that in perspective for myself and others, I keep seeing, like I said, this energy of, oh, well, you know, what do they say today? Or what are they telling us to do today? You know, it's so adamantly and comfortably waiting to be told what's happening in a world you're living in. A world that has nothing to do with you. But you wait on them to tell you what it is. COVID-19 can't stop anybody who has realized in this time and in this place where we are as a people that it can no longer be this way. Pause. It could no longer be this way. We must adjust. We must shift, like I was saying in the last video. When you learn how to make it through something that is trying and hard and negative and defeating and discouraging is the word, When you learn to make it through something like that, who gonna stop you? When you have knowledge of how to rise above what is being offered, who's gonna stop you? What I challenge for myself and everybody out there during this coronavirus quarantine series of your life season is to come out of this unstoppable. Can't nothing hold you back. Nothing but yourself. I know, I know people are saying who think they know me and know more than I know that there's a virus and you're crazy, but it just always is scary to take on what the world is presenting to you. It is scary to listen to people keep saying things that I would never have thought would have gotten on this bandwagon. But then when you really get into who they are and what they support and financially and spiritually, of course, if you think about people who are conscious, collectively conscious, spiritually, emotionally, and mentally as a race, I'm sorry, as an individual within a race, when you get into those people, they're not saying anything. They're not talking about it. They're just contributing where they can and helping where it's possible, which is my theory is what I'm doing. If anybody's willing to take on a respiratory steam and do the work and wants advice about herbs and wants to study herbs, like, I'm all for it. I'm all for giving and sharing and even being challenged with knowledge. But what I won't do is sit at the house in fear, constantly checking who died today, or what they're going to report today, or who's wrong and who's right, and what expert and specialist said today. This is what it's going to be. And like I was saying earlier today on social media, experts and specialists told me many things. And what makes a person like you and me a specialist or expert? We say it's school. We say it's accolades and accomplishments and experience and seniority, right? That's what gives somebody this ability to be thorough or to be valid. And for us to think when people say things that this makes them right, it makes them true. But you're talking about that in a society that literally decides who's an expert, who decides who's a specialist, not who's actually done the work. We know this because many minorities do many things and they get the credit taken from them. They get no recognition, and it's constantly becoming this. We're kind of like crabs in a barrel with each other because it can only be so many of us, right, at one time. When the truth is, we're all experts in whatever we study and immerse ourselves in and embed ourselves in, and it's we're passionate about, and we're here put here on earth to do this. You are an expert. You're a specialist. You just have to do the work to get there. But if you're not, and you're literally sitting around letting someone else who said they did it tell you your answers, it's a comfortability that so many of us have accepted and we've received that doesn't make sense. I just wish that we would stop knowing things but not connecting the dots. You're not going to talk to anybody that's a minority, specifically black, that's going to tell you they don't know about the history or haven't heard the history of their people. But really, do you know? Are you aware? Are you embedded? Are you studying the patterns that are being revealed back to us again during this pandemic, of being told a version of a story, or only being told what someone thinks you should know in order to fear you into doing what they want you to do? It's like I said, is there a virus? Of course. Are people getting sick? Yes. But that didn't just start when Corona was announced. So this whole idea that now, like, for instance, going outside and being in the sun helps with killing bacteria, funguses, and all that. But they keep telling everyone, stay inside, stay inside, stay inside. Well, from the theories of these experts and specialists, as long as you're social distancing and you're not sitting up under people, you should be fine. And the only way to really catch it, so they say, is to be up under each other and be swapping saliva and, doing things that are not sanitary. That's the way to get it. But even that doesn't make sense. You don't know that. This has never happened. So everyone's figuring it out as it happens, and that's what scares me about people. You're willing to listen to a media that lies, centers on certain topics and races, gives you the version of a biased opinion, and you're willing to listen to them now while they feed you information on something they have no idea about. It's crazy. And it's crazy because it makes me think that you're willing, or those people are willing to listen to that because you don't want to think for yourself. You don't want to challenge yourself to come up with a solution, an alternative to what's being presented. Like I said, okay, so there's a virus and it's attacking people. So my counter to that is up my herbs, up my approach, up the things that I know I'm supposed to be doing, and then just constantly keep perpetuating that with those around me. If we're all doing that and we're going out here and we're getting a little sun and we're being, sanitary, and we're not making decisions that are very unhealthy, and we're being cautious, will we really all be dying? And technically, are we all dying? These are the numbers that they're giving you and they're feeding you, and that's what I really want to talk about tonight. They have people in these hospitals diagnosing people with things they don't have, making guesses. And this is before there was ever an announcement of the coronavirus. Now that there is this announcement, everyone's dying from coronavirus all of a sudden. That's the main reason they're all dying. I think it's just a convenient excuse to not have to identify what's going on, because here's the gag. A lot of times they don't know. If someone hasn't been monitoring you, like I said in my other video, getting to know you, learning your body, your patterns of your body, which the only person who can really know that fully would be you. If you don't have a doctor that's known you since you were a baby, how can they really know what's going on with you? I can tell you from experience, if you go to different doctors, they're not asking each other questions. They're not reading medical records like they're supposed to, and they only look after something major has happened. Meaning there has been many things that have transpired that have accumulated to this outcome. But if they have to find an answer to give you, it's going to be whatever is the top thing they can pinpoint right there off the top of their head as specialists and experts. I've witnessed this not just for myself, but for other people. And now in a world pandemic with no real fucking answers, that's not happening anymore. It all just disappeared, and now all the doctors are great and all the specialists know what they're talking about, and they're fully aware of something that everyone keeps saying they don't know what the fuck it is and where. Come on, man. When do we use our brains? When do we take power back over our lives and our minds? When will we do this? If it will ever happen. Now, it will. It will happen. But what I'm saying this to say is COVID-19 can't stop anybody that is shifted and that is aware and that is in alignment. It's not going to stop you. It won't. It can't. That's why a lot of people who are of this knowledge and are aware of what I'm saying are not saying anything, and they're not posting any comments, and they're not telling you black people are dying too, stay home, we don't know what's happening, stay home, this is real. It's a virus is always real. People getting sick and dying is always real. It's not real because of it being coronavirus. It's real because these are the things that are out there, as well as many other diseases that are affecting us and killing us every day. And in order to be able to live, you have to be cautious. You have to be smart, and you have to make sound decisions that align with you being healthy. That is the case of any fucking attack of any virus. So please, people who are caught up in this rapture of thinking that it's all about whatever somebody keeps reporting to you or telling you, or that this is something that's so scary knocking on your door, wake up and refocus and get in alignment, because the time is now. And if you don't want to take this time, if you don't want to take back the power over your mind, please be prepared for what's to come. That is you being irrelevant. You being not where you're supposed to be. You constantly being in your own turmoil, your own depressive state, your own blockage, because you don't want to open your mind and your heart and your spirits to what is really going on. What's being revealed to us through this is that the spirit, the earth, has more power over people than you think. It's not really your decision to get up every day and go, or to throw things on the ground, or to buy things instead of growing them. It's what you're being told to do, to be controlled and to be pumped financially to the bone and then discarded. What I love about what's happening right now is this is an opportunity to shift that. to change that. And I think everyone's mentality should be coronavirus can't stop me. That needs to be a motto, that needs to be an energy that we're all discussing. If you're going to talk about something in a group or with people, let's talk about the advantages you're taking of being able to be at peace at home, to find out what's happening within you. Talk about that. Talk about the discoveries that you've made, the plans you're making to transition out of this and do better. But do not consistently sit around and talk about what you're being reported to, what's being reported to you. Please don't sit around and talk about what they said today and who was lying about it, because it's all dumb and it's a waste of your time, period. I highly encourage people to jump inside of your mind, jump inside of your heart, and jump inside of your spirit. Ask yourself questions like, are you emotionally healthy? Are you emotionally intelligent? Are you aware of how you love and how you need to be loved? Are you aware of the things that make you happy and the things that don't? What are your talents and what are your skills that naturally were given to you since you were a child that you know you've always had? Tap in. Please tap in. And don't let any virus, person, place, or thing stop you, because what shakes me to my core is that we believe in God. We love to tell people that. Everyone does. I don't care what race you are. But when it's time to tap into that faith, when it's time to believe that no weapons formed against me will prosper, when it's time to realize that maybe your recklessness of the way you're living your life in terms of health and what you're putting your energy and belief into is not solid, when you're being challenged to recognize that, instead of just fully immersing back into something that doesn't make sense, I challenge you to step out of that. I challenge you, as I've challenged myself, to rise above what everyone's saying and doing and be that change you want to see. Be that person that isn't being moved by what is happening, but you're moving based on what needs to happen for self, for those around you, for the like I said, the assignments that we've been given. I have such a passionate energy about wanting all of us to live to our highest power, our highest purpose. And what scares me is that not enough people feel this way. We love to act like we're helping and loving and we're molding and we're doing all we can. But when it's time to do it for yourself and that's not easy or it's damn near impossible, then what are you really doing? In other words, you're an actor that's, mastered this character, and now all you want to do is live in character instead of living in real time. And that is what I am breaking away from. And I encourage everyone during this quarantine and chill time to break away from things that no longer serve you, which is a character, and you not having to have real character within yourself. Being this person that does what you think you're supposed to do, what you think people want you to do versus what should be done. I challenge that in all of us as well as myself. Getting past all this bullshit, the beauty of life and the beauty of everything is, so there's a virus and it's attacking everybody and we have to stay at home and we can't do what we normally do, and a lot of us are in limbo, which is actually sometimes a really good thing because it gets you out of whatever you were in. It wasn't working, and we're forced to think about who we are and what we're doing and how that is going to make us, get back on track when we get out of this. My prayer for everybody is that you not only grow out of what doesn't serve you anymore and embrace what is for you, but that you challenge information that's being given to you every day. Stop accepting whatever someone's telling you that feeds into your fear, because that's what a lot of us are living in: fear of change, fear of not having what we want when we want it, fear of not having a security, fear. Even myself, I've lived in fear of not moving forward and making decisions for myself, and I no longer will do that. I feel like this virus, this quarantine has forced me to realize my inability to rise above when I know it's clear that it's time. It's clear to implement what I have learned. As I was saying in my last video, you learn all these things, you retain all this information, and then you're just still going instead of implementing what you've learned. Faith, You know what I'm saying? Challenging information, reading things for yourself, changing things that don't work and aren't healthy for you. It's time. It's time. So if you're really willing to elevate and you're ready to elevate, let go of the past. Let go of what's being revealed to you through a media or an agenda. Let go of what's being told to you through entities you can't trust. And focus on yourself. Focus on your love. Focus on your family. Focus on your generational cycles that you know need to be broken. Focus on the village that needs to be raising these children that we know are not doing that. Focus on not sitting around and talking about each other all day and every opportunity you get because you're really miserable and lonely and sad and ignoring what's happening in your life. But use those words to encourage each other to be better and do something different. Like I said, I'm all for a little tea. I'm all for a little gossip. Don't get me wrong. But if it becomes the basis of your life all day, every day, if that's the excitement you get, it's because you're not living the life you're supposed to be living. It's because you're watching and you're talking instead of doing and implementing, and that is why you're talking about somebody all the time. And it's like, wake up. As much as the person you're talking about is out of there, you are too. Because maybe you're not having the same problems as them, but you got problems. And instead of focusing on those and getting those things together, we're talking about somebody else. And I really challenge that during this COVID-19 quarantine, that you're not doing shit that literally won't change anything except weaken your immune system. Fear, drama, hate, you know what I'm saying? Negative thought processes, all those things weaken your immune system. But we're so afraid of catching this virus. We'll start with your insides, man. Start with how you treat your mental health, your emotional health, and then start with what you're putting in your mouth and the physical activity you're doing. Like I say, this is literally like it starts with you, and then as you're doing these things, it'll only spill out of you, and it'll retain with other people, and you will just be a movement, an energy that people can receive and they want to be a part of. And then as a leader, not a boss, not somebody in charge, but as a leader, you're doing it. You're being the change you want to see, and you're encouraging others to do the same thing. And now it just becomes a movement of leaders, a movement of us doing and living and glowing and being and living in our power as kings and queens. It just becomes an innate, natural response to the life that you're living, and the energy that you're putting out will just come back. But I honestly feel like, do you feel it? Do you feel it? Like, if you're really consciously aware, do you feel that energy shift? Have you felt it? It's a shift that's so deep and so real that only those numb don't feel it. It's like maybe you don't even know what it is, but you feel it. And it's like it's calling you. It's like I say, it's your ancestors, your spiritual guys, God calling you. It's time to get out of this worldly way of doing things and tap into your spirit, tap into your emotions, and tap into the things you're doing. Because if it's all good, trust me, you're all good right now. If it's not, even I have had to recognize in this time frame, there's some things that I still need to work on. Letting go of the past, and being obsessive over things that have happened that there's nothing I can do about it. It's over. Move on. How do you get rid of negative memories? Create new ones. How do you get past something that's hurt you and broken you down? Let it go. Holding on to it, the memories and that person and whatever you feel, holding on to it only allows it to breed more negative energy in your life. Let it go. Let it go. That person that you love and didn't love you back, love them, but love them at a distance. People who talk about you, let them talk. Just stop talking with them. It's like all these things that we think are important aren't. And that's what's scary about all this, that a lot of people's coping mechanism and realizing that what they focus on doesn't matter and it doesn't really sustain them is going to be covered up through what's happening, what's going on, why is that happening, oh no, I can't do that, stay away. And that's why I said, it's scary to think that when we're free to do whatever we want, when there's no virus and no quarantine, that you don't really want to be connected with people. You don't really want to check on people. You don't really want to do anything you don't want to do. You want to do everything you want to do. But now in this quarantine, you could really just be focusing on what you haven't done, which would probably be like what, spending time with your family, spending reconnecting with your children, or reconnecting with somebody that you haven't been able to spend time with. It's a good friend or family member. These are all opportunities to do physical activities together outside and get our energy going. But everything is telling you stay at home, social distance, don't be around people, don't talk. It's like so in the midst of a pandemic, the only way to survive is to isolate yourself, like you're in jail, in solitary confinement. Like that is what's gonna save your life. As we know, anyone has gone through that. Anyone who knows anybody has gone through that. It's the fucking most diabolical mental oppression anyone can go through. But they're asking us to do that in order to get through this, and it's like that's the answer, to create crazy people in their homes, and people who are probably suffering from depression, anxiety, bipolar. Some things need to be normalized in order to keep people in a sane state. But this heightened level of media and fear and making everyone believe they shouldn't touch each other and be around each other at all, like I said, if it's strangers and people you don't know in big groups, of course shit, you should be like that anyway. People are nasty. But when it comes to your family and people who you know where they are and where they've been and what they're doing, why are you finding ways to distance yourself from them? Because that's gonna save your life. Okay. When random people are getting it, they say they're covering themselves up and probably live alone and they have it, and it's like, so what's the difference? Like I said, we all probably got the shit. Just some of us are stronger than others because we take care of our bodies differently. Hello? There's no real test that everyone's taking to know. And even this testing what? What? Because you can fuck around, have the flu, and test positive. Like, look, let's take this energy and let's take this time to elevate our minds and to stop just receiving whatever someone's telling us, and to, above all, tap in and to understand that coronavirus ain't stopping shit. The only one stopping you is you, baby.